Hold it right there. Hey guys, what's up? Driver here. I did have a video scheduled to drop today. As of recording this, it is Monday, August 24th. But I ended up finding a creator who I will be tagging down in the description. I won't be mentioning him by name because I'm so damn jealous of him, who has inspired me not only to re-record this video, but to kind of ramp up the quality of videos that I make. If you've been in my comment sections, been seeing me reply to people telling them I'm going to do better, I want you to know that I was still telling the truth there. That has always been the same. I want every video I make to be better than the last one, not in terms of like views or whatever. I don't care about views right now. Again, I'm not getting paid. I'm doing all of this for the love of the game, ladies and germs, okay? Is what I'm doing. This is not for the money. I'm talking on YouTube because I like talking to you guys. You guys are the reason I hop up out of bed and I got a big old grin on my face, my big old yellow grin, which I'm not gonna smile right now because I just ate some mac and cheese and it's probably even yellower than usual. Another quick thing before this video actually gets rolling and you can actually enjoy the content that you clicked on this video for. I do want to clarify really fast. Sorry, I just got a text from my boss. That scared me, dude. I do want to clarify really fast the kind of shtick that I'm going for with this channel. If you guys end up not liking it, then let me know in the comments below. I've been finding it really fun, and I feel like it's kind of been glossed over in my other videos. So, third video ever, I'm gonna try and explain it a little bit. Whenever I do my intro, that being, "Hi there everybody, I'm the drunken driver. We're gonna have a crazy time getting from point A to point B." That line right there is not just a punchline, it's also the shtick I've been doing for this channel. Every time I sit down and I write a script, it has been in one sitting, and it's kind of, one of my buddies who texted me about the channel told me that it's kind of a stream of consciousness. I start at point A, and then I find out what the script turns into. I don't start these videos with like huge intent or like giant message behind them. My giant message is that I want you guys to giggle at my videos. I want you to laugh. I want you to cry. I want you to tell your friends, oh my goodness, this guy looks kind of like Charlie Kirk, but his videos sure are funny. I'm white. Of course I look like Charlie Kirk. Can't make that joke. I just want to make you guys laugh really quick. I don't know if this is like an apology video now, or I guess an apology start, but for the people who had a lot to say in my other comments, some of them didn't seem too thrilled about the stuff I was saying. I want to make it very clear, if I upset you in any way, that is never the intention with these videos, and I genuinely am sorry if I like made your day negative. That's not what I'm going for here. The intention of the drunken driver is to make you laugh. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a fun time. I'm just yapping at you guys. I be talking. This right now, I'm still talking. It's 4 minutes later since I started this recording. Overall, the worst emotion that I ever want anybody to feel when watching my videos, and I obviously can't control this, people are going to feel what they feel and I can't change that. But I can try and approach it a little differently to hopefully deter those kinds of feelings. The worst thing I want anybody to feel while watching my videos, if they don't like the content, is like, guy's crazy, guys. This guy is absolutely freaking nuts. The worst thing I want y'all to feel. I promised I'm going to do better, and I'm going to, because that's the driver's way. You saw the thumbnail. Let's talk about why Berdly is guts.
Attention, all gamers. Please rise for the Gamer National Anthem.
The people spoke. And the driver listened. Hey guys, what's up? Driver here. Welcome, my dear passenger, to a completely unironic, 100% honest and serious video about one that cannot be put into words. So instead, we're gonna do the Travis Scott thing from the Odyssey. A bird, a desk, boom, a grade, boom, boom, a feather. You will now hear the story of Berdly, Deltarune type shit. To say that Berdly is the greatest potential man in all of gaming history would not only be an overstatement and an understatement at the same time, it would be completely false. Minor spoilers for Deltarune, but if you click this video without playing the game, get out of here! I don't want to see you here. I'm tracking your IP address and sending my elite squad of barbers to f your shit up forever. Anyway, Berdly, tell me, my dear viewer, who stood on business when Chris's behavior towards Noelle took a weird route? Tell me, who went 1v3 against the Fun Gang and then survived a Final Destination 3 level event solo? Who did that? Who was about to pop open a dark fountain fresh off joining the server? No elo, no rank, just pure gamer aura surrounding him in a large gassy green cloud. That's right, the GOAT. Now, if I see anybody, and I do mean anybody, down in the comments below, I'm going to burp now. Ew. The gassy driver. This city needs a hero. If I see anybody in the comments below saying that Berdly is ice level or 32 degree level, I will have you drawn and quartered by sundown, okay? To get into why he's the GOAT on a mathematical standpoint alone, because we're real nerds out here. The light nerds stay strong. We are going to look at a little attack some of you may be aware of. It's called Snowgrave. Snowgrave, according to this Redditor whose account got suspended, can deal a whopping 13,000 500 damage per hit. My goodness. Yes, it's actually a multi-hit attack. Damage is comparable to the sheer amount of ones I keep on my person at all times. I never really thought about it being a multi-hit attack because it doesn't really matter. In Deltarune, if you point Snow Grip at something, it's gone. Simple as that. The really smart people out there, the ones who exploited glitches and saw what Snow Grip can do to normal enemies, can see from this little screenshot that I'm probably about to put up that it disintegrates them. No, it atomizes them would be a better term. They're gone. There's nothing left. I hear you say, my dear passenger,
wait, Darkners and Lightners operate off a different set of rules in the Dark World.
There's also,
oh, well, Noelle was probably subconsciously trying to spare Berdly, and
yeah, I'll give you that, but you know what I hear? I hear a bunch of blah, blah, blah. That bird tanked the Ice Age, dude, okay? You think he's worried about a tomboy and some armor? Please! Don't make any more jokes, my big belly cannot take it. So when I started writing this script, I thought that maybe I would do a nice chapter-by-chapter analysis, exploring Berdly and his character growth, seeing how Toby presented him, seeing where I think he's definitely going to end up in Chapter 7, which, yes, he is going to come back. My dear viewer, something strange happened. Something odd. Something weird. Every time I started writing, my fingers would catch fire, burning me down to the bone. My tendons would snap and crackle, as would any sacrificial lamb upon the altar. This is my baptism by fire. My ordeal, an expression of my faith. So cruel. It can't be called a pilgrimage. This is flagellation in its purest, bluest form. I am the prophet of the blue bird. If there are 1 million Berdly fans out there, I'm one of them. If there are 10 Berdly fans out there, I am one of them. And if there is only one Berdly fan left on the face of this planet, then I have returned for my crusade against those who are not loyal enough to his righteous cause. Those who would only praise him whenever he is made into a sick Dragon Ball edit or in a great little fan animation, which I'm going to credit down in the description below with links to their channel, because if you haven't seen these fan animations, they are absolutely amazing. Golly. Those who would go, there's nothing wrong with him, he's just annoying. Those who do not understand that we are in the presence of a level 100 mob boss, and to him we are but ants. And yet still, much like that of Superman, he would still give his life for any one of us in an instant, because that's the man he is. That is love. And we've never deserved it. This, my dear viewer, is the gospel of the driver. I am the only person alive who sees how great Berdly is, and for my eyes crossing into the realm of the divine, I have gone blind. But I have gained true sight. Without further delay, let's glaze Berdly.
I might slide up to your block with intelligence. I'm a genius with the Glock, there's some relevance.
Now, I would argue that Chapter 1 Berdly is a flash in the pan in terms of Toby making him terribly unlikable to people who were not cool enough to sit with Geometry Dash players in school. I was once in that same situation, guys. While I would play my slop of clans, I never made it past Town Hall 7. I sucked. They were over there cooking up absolute joy in a kettle every single time I looked over. It was awesome. His over-the-top mannerisms and his willingness, actually not even just willingness, his activeness in wanting to exclude Chris, and by extension us the player, was enough for most people, especially those people, to start hating Berdly from the jump. This, my lovely passenger, is a lovely example of a red herring. Now let me ask you this. What is a red herring to a blue jay? Bring it up. Numbers on the board. Berdly fans are eating good. To understand what I mean, we are going to be comparing Berdly to a character that is equal in stature when it comes to aura, when it comes to character writing, and most importantly, when it comes to combat prowess. This character popped into my head the instant I saw that beautiful little blue boy pop on my screen. I am obviously talking about... Ooh, I might act a damn fool! Now, while I'm sure we all see the comparison clear as day, allow me to paint a little picture for those of you who maybe don't get the vision yet. Big ol' spoilers for Berserk, going up into the final events of the Eclipse, setting the scene here, and speedrunning my channel getting taken out back and shot by the algorithm. We're gonna talk about Guts' life. I know, bad idea. Guts is probably the most complex, tragic, and overall just awesome character in all of fiction. Mind you, I say that about every character I talk about in my videos, because at that moment in time, I do believe that they're the most awesome character in fiction, because the Drunken Driver is making a video on them for a reason. Miura, may he rest in peace, wrote a character that exemplifies the human spirit. Guts is flawed, horribly flawed. He is a wrathful man, envious, and self-destructive to a point that it should almost be funny. It's kind of absurd just how bad it is. But Miura, of course, being the goat that he is, walked the smallest tightrope imaginable and still manages to make all of Guts' trials feel authentic, real, and his victories earned. Let's go over a brief summary of Guts' life. If you are uncomfortable with any of the following topics that I'm about to pop up here on screen, click off this video now or click ahead to the timestamp that I'm also going to put right over there. That probably broke my mic. I never need to do that again. That was a terrible idea. Big ups to this Redditor right here for making a little list of trigger warnings for chapters. And now it's tangent time. This is going to be a quick tangent, but yes, I know that Berserk is a seinen manga meant for adults with some super dark and heavy themes, but I saw some people online saying in response to these lists that if you need one of these lists, you shouldn't read Berserk at all, full stop. One part of me is like, okay, yeah, I see your point, but it is one of the best mangas of all time. If you need like a warning to understand what you're getting into, dude, I don't think there is any shame in that. For example, I think Berserk and Pun Pun are some of the greatest stories I've ever read. I will recommend them to nobody because of the content within and the themes and how much damage it did to my little soul when I was reading it, because I should not have been reading Goodnight Pun Pun at 16 years old. I did, and look at me now, I'm a YouTuber. That's the pipeline that you're walking, buddy. Anyway, all that to say, if you are one of the people who is asking for these lists, more power to you. If you need to just know what you're getting into before you read a chapter, and maybe you even need to take breaks, dude, more power to you. If you look at this list and all the stuff that we're about to talk about and you go, that is not for me, dude, I get it. I am not somebody who even considers these topics like triggers in the traditional sense, and even I, while reading, get very upset at some of the imagery because, like, Miura is the GOAT. His penmanship is beyond my understanding as a human being. I have the same hands that he does, but he can do things that I could never imagine. So he's the GOAT, and he's used that power for evil in some instances. If you need to know what Berserk's about, or what the chapter's about, or hell, even what the next page is about, dude, do it. You deserve to read good stuff. You deserve not to be triggered by good stuff. Do what you need to do. I support you. All right, I'm going to try and make this last exactly 1 minute long. We're going to see how that goes. I'm about to read off a big ol' summary of Guts' life from the start up through the events of the eclipse. Here is the Drunken Driver's summary of Guts' life. Born from his mother's corpse in the hanging tree, trains with his guardian, is sold for a night with a grown man at 9 years old by said guardian, kills guardian in self-defense, becomes a mercenary to take his anger out on the world, embarrassed by a femboy twice, joins the femboy and his merry crew as a weapon, ends up fighting friendship, gets famous with the gang, fights the coolest iteration of a man-turned-monster ever, almost dies, accidentally kills a kid, hears femboy talking some crazy stuff, breaks his heart, goated confused tomboy, heals his heart, the 100-man slaughter that gives him the moniker 100-man slayer, Guts leaves his bros once he realizes he's being used for someone else's dream, he meets the super goat who tells him the femboy is gonna fuck everything up, trains and hears his gang, stalks her down so he comes back, cracks the goated tomboy and has no idea that he got her pregnant. Goes to save the femboy who isn't looking so hot anymore now, is he? And then has to watch all of his friends get ripped to pieces before his very eyes. Then, the evil femboy violates the goated tomboy and breaks her mind less than 20 feet away from Guts. That's the first 73 chapters. Out of 364! And counting! If you don't think that's the worst life ever, I want to hear your story, man. Or I want to hear what you're reading. That was a little summary. I promise that I'm not going to directly spoil anything else. Already enough fake Berserk fans in the world, and this channel will not be the cause of more of them being out there. After all that, his life somehow gets even worse. Most people would have taken the hint after that first sentence and logged off, if you catch my drift, but he doesn't. He fights quite literally every day. He has a curse branded into his skin that makes a simple human necessity as sleep an almost impossible task for him. Berserk fans watching this, yes, I know he's had a chance to nap ever since he linked up with Shoki and he's on the boat. I'm gonna say it's Shoki. I know some people say it's Silky, but there's no L in that word. Just throwing that out there. Most of the people watching this video probably won't even know who Puck is, so don't spoil stuff in the comments below. Guts is this absolute anger at the world and its atrocities, an unstoppable force against an unforgiving and ceaselessly horrible fate. But he keeps going. While writing this script, I even started tearing up a little bit, just thinking back to those chapters that I read whenever I was a teenager. And despite it being fiction, even I struggled to justify, like, why he kept going. Knowing that it's fiction, I still want him to stop to this day. I want Guts to be happy. I want him to rest. But he won't. He can't. It depends who you ask. Yeah. Even knowing that it's a fantasy story. That is enough to break my heart 10 times over, and that is Guts. Berdly is a young, arrogant, anthropomorphized blue bird with an ego and a heart of gold. He volunteers at the library, prides himself on his good grades, and through both the normal and weird routes, we get to see a more complex version of the character than is initially presented to us. We are going to begin this fun little comparison by talking about the weird route. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We're not gonna talk about normal route Berdly because it's been a very long time since I've played through a normal route. The last 2 runs I did were the weird route and the abandoned weird route. The only Berdly that I have on the top of my mind is weird route Berdly and then festival Berdly. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you will realize that Berdly and Guts aren't so different after all. Hold up, stop the car. Before you block the channel, hear me out. Berdly in the Weird Root is a far cry from the bird that most people are familiar with, having a seemingly out-of-character seriousness about him. Once he's confronted by Chris and the poor Noelle, he realizes immediately that something is wrong, and within a nanosecond, ups pole at the player to protect his friend. Though him and Noelle are technically battling, he is still fighting for his friend. Golly. Abandoning all other outcomes that are possible, like just hitting Berdly or telling him, I'm protecting her from you. There's exactly one way this battle ends, and it ends with the hero frozen in ice, unable to stop the player from hurting someone he considers a true friend. Someone who has been there and helped him every single step of the way. Not only that, but she knows that being smart is important to him. So being the smartest, being number one, she happily gives up the title. And no, I'm not talking about the spelling bee, alright? We know why Berdly won the spelling bee because, mind you, Spampton Sweepstakes people, eat your hearts out if I get this timeline wrong. But putting a contestant's sister, putting the name of a contestant's sibling who is currently missing into a spelling bee, month or not, is insane. Somebody on that spelling bee board did not want the holidays to take home the trophy that year. That's my theory. I'm throwing that out there. If that's already a thing, let me know. This I believe to be the tragedy of Berdly Deltarune, or Berdly D Goat, or Berdly D Gaster, whatever you want to call him. I think it's inaction. A man who once did everything for himself. The second that he drops that act, and we get to see this kind of real side of Berdly, where he cares and he's fighting for the sake of others, he's punished for it. It's a cruel lesson, one that he doesn't deserve. Berdly's character development mirrors the chapter in Guts' life whenever he leaves the Band of the Hawk. Exploring how this massive leap in logic works in my odd little mind, Guts is also on a semi-selfish little side quest before hearing of his friend's predicament. Returns to save Griffith, that evil son of a bitch, I hate that guy, and risks his own life to do it. When they do get out, it's too late. Griffith isn't Griffith anymore. Because of this selfless act, I want to call it, Guts has doomed the world. He's doomed the future, but the worst part? He doomed his friends. To say that Guts shares the same tragedy of inaction that Berdly has during the eclipse would simply be incorrect. Guts, I think it would be a lot better to say that he was unable. He was unable to save Griffith, then unable to stop Griffith, unable to save his friends, unable to protect the woman he loves. All of these horrible happenings stemming from the selfish desire of one that he considered a friend. I would like you to now follow me over to this bridge so that we can jump off of it and follow all our other friends who are jumping off of it. When I say this, Berdly and Chris are the same way. Whoa, partner, hold your horses there. Allow the driver to clarify your ass, to defog the glass before we crash. Bought her a Birkin bag, then I bought her some ass. Cops' brain matter getting splattered across the dash. Berdly been the goat, putting toes straight to tags. Connect the dots, check the stocks, go to classes. Berdly getting money funny, question, check the math. When talking about Big Bird and Crisscross Applesauce's relationship, there are a great many people who would execute you publicly for entertaining the idea of curdly. Now, while I do not engage in the shipping of fictional middle schoolers because I'm not weird, I do believe they are/were friends before the events of Deltarune, and we got a bunch of fun stuff to back this up. Making some very loose connections here. Again, loose connections, that's what we do here on this channel. We just make it work. Berdly cannot save Noelle. Guts cannot save Casca, and no, I am not shipping Berdly and Noelle. Shipping's weird. And after all of these events, it really feels like they aren't able to do anything other than just keep struggling. Oh, buzzword, struggler. Guts in a more badass and fantastical way, fighting back literal demons and apostles to try and do some good in a world that he inadvertently doomed, and Berdly in a much more, I want to say a much more grounded way. He is fighting just to stay alive in that hospital bed, man. With his enemy being the one who comes and comforts him with artificial warmth. It's evil, man. It's sadistic. It's a mockery of the same love that Chris has for Berdly. And, by extension, that Berdly has for Chris, not us, the player. Forcing Chris to go through the motions of caring for their friend who is now comatose in a hospital, put in that hospital and that coma by our own hands. I don't need to tell you why that's fucked up.
But driver, I'm just playing the game. It's his fault for being in the way, right? I mean, this all could have been avoided had he just stood to the side and done nothing. Instead, he got in the way. I didn't want to do it.
But you did. You did, my dear passenger. We did. curiosity is a dangerous thing. FYI, we are now pulling into speculation station, so please have your earplugs ready. We're about to get a little wacky and wild in here. Assuming you're like me and you do not buy into the idea that the weird route is the forbidden path that they've been talking about, there's a really good video that I really like on that. I'm going to leave it tagged in the description below. All of our strange and odd actions are still fulfilling the prophecy, just in a different way. Not a nice way, not the right way. I hear you ask, what's one bird to saving the world? Good question. What is a stick to a forest? What is a stone to a castle? Why couldn't Berdly just understand what we were trying to do? Can't he see that we're trying to do the right thing? Why can't he understand? It's a simple answer. He's not a monster. In one of the most emotionally charged speeches in Berserk, Griffith explains his perception of a friend. Going to now play the clip. I still don't get how fair use works. If somebody wants to explain it below, I would be more than happy to then read over it diligently, because I've tried Googling it and it just looks really scary. So,
they are my able soldiers, it's true. They are dedicated comrades who sacrifice themselves for my dream so that it might be real. But that does not make them friends. In my mind, a true friend never relies on another's dream. The man who would be my friend must have his own reason for living, beyond me, and he should put his heart and soul into protecting his dream. He should never hesitate to defend it, even against me. For me to call a man my friend, he must be equal to me in all respects.
if you've been paying attention throughout this video, your ears probably should have perked up a little bit right there. This is the speech that in the fast track of Guts' life that we went over breaks his perception of the relationship that him and Griffith have. It shatters the reality that he's created for himself, one of literal demons, nightmares, and atrocities. But the straw that breaks the camel's back is knowing that the man he considers his best friend doesn't see him that way at all. He sees him as a soldier, a tool. I guess you could say that's a pretty weird route for him to be taking about his friends who fight and die for him all the time, but that's a stretch, and I'm kissing the microphone when I say this. Ooh. Bring some levity here. We do know that Griffith is a whiny little baby bitch who, the second that Guts is like, yo, I want to go, he throws a little hissy fit and even fights him for it. Ironically, making Guts everything that he talked about a friend being, which is done so beautifully in the books. This is not going to turn into a Berserk Glaze video, I promise. We, the player, also have a giant, lofty dream. Even if it's not as pretty as starting our own kingdom, it's still a monstrous one, though. One that a good person would question the inclusion of in the first place. Why would we do the weird route? At least when Griffith commits evil acts, he has a nice justification about it being his destiny, that there's a future only that he can see, and that it's one that we just can't possibly understand. We don't get it. We don't see what Femto sees. This grandstanding directly contradicts his assault of Casca. When Griffith does what he does, and no, I'm not going to elaborate further, he does it not only to hurt Guts, but to punish the both of them for even talking about life beyond Griffith. This Redditor puts it perfectly in my opinion. The weird route doesn't have that either, right? Outside of some obvious connections that we have there with the player and Griffith wanting to be the ones who give life to the world, them being the reason that the whole world turns, and Toby Fox, being the goat that he is, being the goat, fully acknowledges that the player is the one who gives the world life. Yes, there's other stuff about like the world building and what they're doing whenever we're not playing the game. We're the force that changes their lives. And I believe that the Millennium Falcon shares a lot of similarities in that aspect. That's a bit of a tangent right there. I might cut it, I might not. We'll see what stays in the video. We're gonna have a crazy time getting from point A to point B. Who knows? I'm just dancing. Ooh, just having fun. Ooh. In the weird route, Noelle is pushed to become stronger for some unknown future threat, forcing her into an act so vile, it shatters her mind. Toby Fox is not new to the concept of the player being evil, like we just talked about, but he made sure that there isn't a lot of wiggle room in Deltarune for people to defend the actions of the weird route, at the very least defend it well. We gaslight our childhood friend, no, not our childhood friend. We gaslight Chris's childhood friend into killing another one of her childhood friends, and then she says it's a good thing, right? It's what she wants, right? She wants to change. Oh my god, I just know the Berserk fanboys who are neurally linked with me right now. I know that you guys are seeing it. For those of you who aren't neurally linked to me right now, don't worry, you'll drink the Kool-Aid eventually. You'll see what I'm talking about. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Before we conclude, let's clear up a couple of things considering how this video did in fact cover some very intense subject matter. Number one, I am not equating evil, alright? Nor am I saying that these acts are comparable from a moral standpoint. This has been a video exploring narrative similarities, not a direct one-to-one comparison. I'm not trying to rank who's more evil between the player and Griffith. That's not what we're doing here. 2. While I believe the script was written in a way that is still respectful of the subject matter, while retaining that entertainment value that I'm trying to keep for you guys, I gotta keep you guys engaged. If I have upset any of you with my covering of this topic and the way that I have covered this topic, I apologize. That is never the intent with my videos. I never want to be a negative part of somebody's day. If you think that I am not taking these subjects seriously enough, then I will refrain from ever speaking on them again, even in a fictional standpoint. I want to make that very clear. I am not trying to make you guys mad. 3. I am fully aware that Berdly's character archetype is not an uncommon one, and that there are much easier, hell, even better comparisons to make. However, that's not how we roll on this channel. We make it work, baby. That's what the Drunken Driver is all about. We get from point A to point B no matter what. Yeah, all of that out of the way, let's wrap this thing up. If you had told me that writing my own video on how Berdly is comparable to Guts would have had me almost in tears a couple of times while writing the script, I would have laughed at you. I started finding a pattern, and now I can't look away. The abyss surrounding these men shares a very similar darkness, a violent and unfair void that consumes them until there is nothing left but a shell of what once was. Guts, a hurting little boy, believing himself incapable of love or being loved, trapped in an endless nightmare that he can't escape because he's the only man who can stop it. And he believes he's the only man who can stop it. He has to. God, I love Berserk. Berdly, a man who hides his heart behind the armor of his pride, in his moment of sincerity and a true act of love, is struck down and forced to fight to stay alive instead of being out there battling the real enemy, the same enemy that nobody else sees, who passes as a human in a world full of monsters. I really hope y'all are seeing what I'm cooking. I hope y'all are smelling what I'm shitting, man. I think I'm onto something here. I'm also very delusional, and I'm really tired. I don't know if y'all could tell from the giant eye bags. I did not sleep well last night, so if I start saying a bunch of stuff and it makes no sense, now you know why. I am exhausted, but I also told you guys that I was getting this video out, so guess what? We're getting the video out. Couple of things here before we end. I know we've done couple of things here segments now. Deltarune is still coming out. We do not know how the story of Noel and Chris ends in the weird route. And yes, this whole little comparison can get tossed in the garbage the second that Chapter 6 drops. And if that happens, dude, guess what? I'm alright with that. I wrote this script, I found a pattern, I stuck to it, and now I love Berdly even more than I did before I started writing the script, which you could ask some of my friends and my roommates is a pretty high bar to clear already. I'm still happy with this video, even if it does change with like Susie being a better comparison for Guts, which, man, that was also a video idea, but the Berdly Glaze video was the one that got voted on, and Susie's still such a complicated character that I don't really want to go near her yet. I eventually probably will, whenever the full game releases and we can do a big ol' analysis of her. Right now, Susie's like a big old can of worms that I'm scared to open, because you have fan and Susie, and you got canon Susie, you got the people who think that she doesn't know what's going on, you got the people who think that she knows exactly what's going on. I just went on a rant about Susie. Whoops! Another thing to point out here is for my Berserk people who clicked on this video trying to figure out how I'm going to compare one of the greatest manga ever written to Deltarune. I am not currently caught up to Berserk. Don't throw tomatoes just yet. Or the last chapter that I read was the one with the sea god, and since then I've been really busy and I have not allocated proper time to catch all the way back up. Got school, I got work, I got the comic book that I'm working on with my sibling, and now I have this lovely channel, and I have you guys, and I like you guys. In case there's been some crazy development for Guts or for Griffith that also cans this argument, know that I probably haven't read it yet. And if I have, last time I read Berserk was when I was, I think, 19. Been a minute. But I did make sure I did, at the bare minimum, due diligence. I found timelines, I found some quotes, I found some panels. I wanted to make this argument work. If you don't think it works, man, please let me know in the comments down below. I love engaging with you guys. In ultimo, my dear viewer, I love Berdly, I love Guts, I am so excited for Chapter 6 to come out. I also just found out about the news. I am very happy that Miura's work is getting continued by his team. That puts a smile on my face so big I can't even show it on camera. That's how big, okay? That's how bad it is, or how good it is. I hope you guys like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff. I'm trying to do a poll every week so that you guys can keep on picking what you want to see on the channel, and I will make it work. Mind you, it's going to be in the Drunken Driver style where I do something like this. The Berdly Glaze video started as a Berdly Glaze video, and it turned into a Berdly is Guts video. That's how we roll here. Reminder, we have a crazy time getting from point A to point B. Yeah. I love you guys. One more thing. the absolute last thing I want to do in this video is I want to shout out 2 commenters who disagreed with me, and I want to make it very clear that this is not to, like, go get them for disagreeing with me. I want you guys to disagree with me, especially whenever I misrepresent some points and stuff like that. If I say something and you disagree with it and you tell me about it, dude, I'm gonna respond. I'm still a really small channel. We don't even have 100 subscribers, man. I love talking to you guys. Even if you don't agree with me, even if you think my points are silly and that I'm just a silly guy who's being disingenuous, when you guys disagree with me, it lets me know that not only did you watch the video, you're trying to understand, and then when you don't, you comment. And love seeing you guys' comments, and that's not just because I need engagement and I want the channel to blow up. Like, no, I post these videos to have conversations with you guys. It's a very one-sided conversation when I'm recording and no one's there to disagree with me and go, hey, you're being a little silly, buddy. But when you guys get involved and I post the videos and the comments open up, it makes my day. You can ask my little missus. I told her, like, you gotta keep me off the YouTube because I was just trying to reply to comments. If I miss your comment, I apologize. I went back through, I found some that I missed, and I liked them and replied. Yeah. I'm also gonna censor these guys, their actual usernames. Please do not harass anybody. If I see anybody turning around and harassing some of my commenters, the ones who disagree with me, then congrats. This whole channel dies, like, in 1 second. And by that I mean I'll just turn comments off so that you guys can't be mean to each other. I want you guys to be buddies. I want you to be friends. I want you to be nice to each other. I'll crash you later. Driver out. Driving in my car.